Hiya guys, welcome back to Wentworth Life. Wow, what an episode this has been. So we are going to be talking about season 6, episode 8, but before I get started, let me just warn you that there will be spoilers, massive spoilers in this video. If you haven't already caught up with the latest episode, I would advise stopping this video and catching up on your Wentworth episodes. And before we get started, guys, I would just like to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to be updating a lot more Wentworth videos, so if you're a massive Wentworth fan, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Okay, guys, season 6, episode 8. So let's just start off where last episode finished. Sonia is dead. Kaz has killed her to save Liz. So the episode more or less starts off with Kaz being a much stronger top dog. There's a massive change in her. She's got that top dog swagger. It reminded me of when Bea had finally become top dog and she started getting that boss look about her. So within this episode, Fight Club is back. But Kaz is actually allowing Fight Club to go ahead. But she has taken, I think it's 50% of the cuts, and she's going to be using that money to set up a halfway house. She's a lot stronger also because within the episode, she cuts ties with Mr. Jackson. She basically tells him that she doesn't need him anymore. And she kind of just admits to Ali that she is now the top dog that everybody needs and wants, really. But also on top of that, she still wants to protect Liz, which I think is really, really nice because Liz does need looking after. And within the episode, Kaz does end up telling Boomer about Liz's condition because Boomer still has it in her head that Liz is a lagger and she's really peed off because Sonia's dead. But yes, and Boomer is sort of like bullying Liz slightly, and it's not very nice to see. So Kaz just lays her cards on the table and tells Boomer, this is what happens. Liz loves you. Treat her with respect. So that's pretty much it along with Kaz. There was a big, massive revelation in this episode. A revelation that Ruby killed Danny Winter, Marie's son. So, how does this come about? Well, Marie manages to source some photos that are photos of Danny on a night out, the same night he was killed. In these photos is Ruby. So, Marie and Zara question Ruby. Zara grabs Ruby, takes her to Marie's cell, and Zara starts beating Ruby with Marie questioning her. It's quite a violent scene, but Rita ends up walking in the middle of it, and she ends up saving Ruby. Rita ends up revealing to Marie that they are actually sisters, and she honestly cannot remember certain things because she is suffering with a brain injury, which we'll get to in a moment. So Rita manages to save Ruby and takes her back to his cell, but Ruby literally reveals everything to Rita. She reveals that she was on a night out with her friend, and I believe Danny was there. I'm not sure if they just met him in the bar or if he was part of their friendship group. Anyway, during the night out, Danny had raped Ruby's friend. So later on, Ruby confronts Danny in a secluded car park, and she ends up punching him, and hasn't realised that she's punched and killed him at this point. Obviously, we know that in past episodes he was in hospital, brain dead. So there's obviously somewhere along the line he's been found, and they tried to, obviously sort him out and make him better, but he did unfortunately die. So that was a bit of a shocking moment. It was brilliant acting from the people who play Rita and Ruby. It was a very touching scene, and Ruby has literally put Rita in a massive predicament now. I mean, it's just absolutely so messy right now, and it's going to absolutely explode in the next couple of episodes, which I'm really excited about. Also in this episode, Ruby ends up having another fit and falls down the stairs, and it's later revealed that she's actually has a brain aneurysm, which is quite sad. Now, as I spoke earlier, Fight Club is back on. Boomer has joined because she's really peed off that Sonia's dead, so she wants to punch some tits in, as she quotes. And Ruby has also put herself forward to fight. Ali later on discovers that Ruby has a brain aneurysm, as Miss Smiles ends up telling Ali that she needs to stop Ruby from fighting, otherwise she could die. So Ali does manage to stop Ruby from fighting, and they finally get it on. Talking about getting it on, will Mr. Jackson and Marie end up sleeping together again? So, yeah, this is crazy. I'm really worried for Mr. Jackson, because Marie has got her motives, and I don't know what they are. And also, is he using contraception? Because she's going to end up pregnant. Remember Doreen? Anyway, the biggest part of this episode, which happened from beginning, middle, and end throughout, is Vera is being stalked. So basically, the episode opens up to Vera checking her house, locking the windows, and checking under her bed. And she starts hearing noises coming from outside her bedroom window and in her garden. She has a little look, and she feels, obviously, that somebody's there, doesn't actually see anybody at this point. The next day, Vera finds footprints outside, dirty, massive footprints on her footpath. So she thinks that she's got a prowler. And she's also getting silent prank phone calls while she's in work. So in the end, Vera ends up thinking that it's Jake. So Jake checks up on her one evening. He checks the house, and somehow she seems to realise that, he's done this because he wants to get back into her house, and basically he wants her to run into his arms and save her, type of thing. So they end up having a massive argument, and Jake's declaring his love for Vera once again, and then Vera finally turns around and says, well, why did you shag the Nurse Ratchet? So Vera thinks it's Jake, but by the end of the episode, a brick is thrown through Vera's bedroom window. Because Vera thinks it's Jake, she's not scared, so she ends up running outside, and she is shouting at Jake to leave her alone. And she ends up ringing Mr. Jackson to tell him that Jake is doing it again and he's throwing a brick through the window, which at this point, Mr. Jackson says, it's impossible. Jake is with me right now. So Vera runs back into the house, and after a nail-biting couple of seconds with Vera checking the house, checking under her bed, and also seeing a footprint on her bedroom floor, so someone is either in her house or has just been in her house, she gets up, looks over, and sees the freak's gloves left on her pillow. And that, guys, is how the episode ends. Now, I mean, what the hell? Is this real life right now? I mean, we don't know if the freak is dead or alive, guys. This is absolutely crazy. I mean, I thought, who could be stalking Vera? I mean, it could be Jake, but obviously he was there with Will, so unless he's colluding with somebody, I don't think it's going to be him. It could be that officer that she got fired ages ago. I think it was Officer Murphy. But I don't know. It's building. So this was an absolutely great episode, just for the simple fact that not only was Vera's stalking storyline brilliant, it was a great revelation episode about Ruby and loads of secrets coming out and being revealed. And it's everything is bubbling away beautifully, and I got a feeling by the end of this season we're going to see a very explosive final, an absolutely massive all-rounder, everybody involved. Loads of stories coming to a climax by the end of this season. It's going to be fantastic. So for this episode, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a fantastic episode, and it's really, really making me excited for the next episode. So also the trailer at the end of this episode is very Ferguson related. So next week's episode is going to be a massive Ferguson type of episode, and I believe we will find out if she's dead or alive. But I'm going to make another video about the freak being dead or alive, and I will be uploading it later today. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. So underneath this video, comment, what would you rate this out of 10? And also, who do you think is stalking Vera? Leave your comments in the box below. And also, guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button below. Thank you.